Hi all, welcome back to Python for Data Science tutorial on Untitled. In this session, we'll be discussing about the loop concepts in Python. So what's a loop? Why do we need loop? Say for example, we need to print a statement. Say hello world, the very common statement, right? Suppose you want to print the statement, say 5 times. Without using looping concept, how will you proceed? You can write that print statement 5 times. But that's hectic, right? Suppose if you want to repeat say 100 times or 1000 times. This logic is not going to work out. So here comes the importance of loop statements in Python or the loop concepts. So let's see what loop is, how to implement loop in Python. In Python, we have two loop statements, while loop and for loop. So let's start with the while loop first. So while loop in Python is used for executing a block of statements n number of times depending upon a condition. As long as the condition is true, the loop will be evaluated. Let's take the same example as I said before, printing a statement. Let's say we need to print hello world 5 times. How are we going to do that using the while loop? So let's take a variable I initialized with 0. Then we'll use our while statement and I'm going to say while I less than 5. So this loop is going to iterate 5 times because my condition is I less than 5. As long as this condition is true, the statements that you provide within the while loop will be evaluated. Now here, Python, you have to take care of the indents. All the statements that come within the while block has to be followed within the index as shown. So if I say print hello world, right? After this, I need to update the value of I. So I'm incrementing the I value. I is equal to I plus 1. So these are the statements that comes within the while loop. Any statement outside of the while should be intended as shown. So outside of the while loop, let me just print the value of I. I is equal to, let's say, I. So that I can show you when it exits from the while loop, what is the value of I. Let's run the code. So you could see here, as expected, it is printing hello world 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And the value of I is 5 when it exited from the while loop. So let's just give a dry run to this code and understand this better. So initially, the value of I is 0. After that, we enter the while loop. So before entering, you have to check this condition. If this condition is true, then only it gets into the body of the while loop. So what is our condition? 0 less than 5. Yes, it's a true condition. So it enters the while loop and it starts executing the statements within the while. So it prints hello world, right? After that, we are incrementing the value of y. So I becomes 1 now. After that, again it gets back to the while loop. Now it checks for the condition I less than 5. So here the I value is 1. So 1 less than 5, my condition is true. So if the condition is true, the block of statements within the while will be evaluated. So again the same process repeats. Printing hello world, changing the I value from 1 to 2. Again checks the condition, it's true. So this process repeats until your I value is 5. So once the I value is 5, what happens now? What is the condition? Now the condition becomes 5 less than 5. So this is not a true condition. So once the condition fails, it comes out of the while loop. So after coming out, whatever the statement next follows will get evaluated. So here we have given a statement to print the value of I, and hence you are getting this statement I is equal to 5, because once you are exiting from the while loop, the value of I is, the latest value of I was 5. That is why it is printing I equal to 5. So this is how while loop works in Python. Now let's see about the for loop. So for loop is used for iterating through a sequence of values. That is, say for example, let's say the same scenario where we are printing hello world, say for 5 times. Let's see how we are going to do that using a for loop. So as said, for loop is used to iterate through a sequence of values. So this is how we are going to work with for loop. So before getting started with for loop, let me use a variable n. Let me initialize the value with 5. Now we'll use our for loop. So here you have to say for, then you have to use the iterating variable. So let me use the iterating variable here as I in. Now you have to say the sequence. So here I'm going to generate my sequence using the range method. Range, the sequence of values that I'm going to use here is ranging from 0 to n. And then colon. So now you tell me for how long this loop is going to iterate. How many number of times this loop is going to iterate. So here my range function will generate the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the last value n, that is n is holding a value of 5 which is not included. So as long as you have I in range, so this is the range 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So tell me now how many number of times? It is for 5 times that the loop is going to work. So for I in range, what should I do? I should print a statement. I'm printing hello world, right? I have executed this. See your output. It's printing hello world 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is about for loop. So this is about the while loop and for loop in Python. So looping statements are very helpful for programmers as it gets the work done quickly and effectively. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe. And please don't forget to tap the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever we upload a new videos. Thank you.